if you're giving the CFA exam, whether it's level 1, level 2, level 3, make sure you are not doing these 4 mistakes, because it can actually lead you to failing the exam. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Tanishka and I hope you all are doing good. In today's video, I'm going to be telling you 4 probable reasons that can lead you to failing your CFA exam. This is applicable for CFA level 1, level 2 and level 3. So let's get straight to it. But before that, if you're new to this channel, then please take 1 second to hit the subscribe button. If you've ever liked my work even a teeny tiny bit, then please join the community by subscribing to the channel. And while you're at it, do not forget to hit the bell icon so that you're notified every time I post a new video. And for the very kind people who have already subscribed, thank you so much for joining me in my journey. I hope we stay together till the end of time. Okay, so I am specifically making this video now because I have currently observed this trend that a lot of you are making these mistakes, either one of it or all 4 of it. Some of you comment it and ask, some of you are my clients, and then you tell me that I'm doing this, and it just breaks my heart to see that you all are making such common mistakes only because of the information that is put out on the internet that is not maybe 100% correct or not validated well enough, or some of you are just making your assumptions or are thinking that because this is the exam, this is the way it should be done. It's actually very wrong. So anyway, let's get to mistake number 1. Mistake number 1 is putting less weightage to the less weighted subjects. So a lot of you in CFA level 1, level 2 and level 3 have a habit that, you know what, let's just focus on the high weightage subjects. Let's focus on an FSA, a fixed income, let's do a quants. Subjects like corporate issuers, alternative investments are often ignored or are kept to, यार वो तो मैं last में कर लूँगा या last में कर लूँगी because वो तो manage हो ही जाएगा, right? Or even the easier chapters in the big subjects, say the chapter 1, the overview of say portfolio management, overview of equity, all those, you know, easy bits that we feel, the theoretical bits that we feel, people are leaving it for the end, thinking that ye to aaram se ho jayega, this is not something that they will even ask maybe. And that is where you actually make a very big mistake, because I'll tell you, first point why it's a mistake is low weighted subjects should be treated equally, if not more than the high weighted subjects, because the chance of error actually becomes lesser. For example, in FSA, if they're asking 10 questions, even if you get 3 wrong, you're still touching the 70% mark. In a corporate issuers, for example, or in an AI, if they're asking you only 4 questions, you really cannot afford to make 3 mistakes, right? That percentage will really drop. Max to max, you can have 1 mistake. So if you make 3 mistakes, your overall subject percentage will fall. Now, even though the overall scoring doesn't depend on a particular subject, if that subject is very low, it will bring your overall score down. Therefore, please pay attention to these easy subjects, like we call, because they do play a big role. And many times, because the institute also feels that, people will ignore this or they will think it's too easy, they actually ask from there, they ask from the easier topics, and that's when we're so flabbergasted that, oh my god, how did they ask this? I did not expect this. I only prepared for the hard. I thought ye to puchenge hi nahi. So this is a very common phenomenon. I've had so many of my clients come and tell me, I did not even pay attention to this, thinking they will not ask, but then the questions came from there. It happens many times. So please pay attention to even subjects that have low weightage, or subjects that you feel are very easy, or topics that you feel are, ye to main aaram se kar lunga, to karo. Do it from the very start and keep practicing it. Don't just read it once and leave it. Make sure you are constantly in some form practicing it at least. Or in the end, if you are revising everything else, then revise this as well. Mistake number 2 that a lot of people do is they study based on time rather than target. So I've had this so many times asked to me that, ma'am, how many hours should we study to pass CFA? This is such a wrong question, I cannot tell you, because nobody can predict the actual number of hours. There are people who say 300 hours, there are people who say 500 hours, and I find it the most absurd thing that why are you even counting hours? We're not in kindergarten anymore. Yes, the institute has put out a basic layout for people to know that roughly itna time lagega. If you are planning to prepare, take this much time. They mean to calculate it in days. They are not really calculating how many hours you study in a day. That is, we're not anymore in kindergarten, and if you're giving an exam like CFA and you're still following this method, it is very, very wrong. That, oh my god, I have to study 8 hours in a day. Chahe 8 hours mein my mind is lost. How does that make any sense? Rather, your study should be target based. Today I have to complete 1 chapter plus 10 questions or 5 questions. A more objectified target is what's going to lead you to success, and also a more objectified target, if you set such goals, will lead you to better jobs, because the corporate employers will know that this person knows how to deal with deadlines. It's not that I need to tell this person आप 3 घंटे काम करो. उसमें क्या काम हो रहा है? Time doesn't matter. What is happening in that time is important. A person who's studying for 8 hours but is lost completely, doesn't know what to do, is gonna 100% fail, rather than the person who is studying only 2 hours a day but is very sure that today I need to do this and completes his or her set target. Always follow this method. Mistake number 3 is the assumptions that you guys are making because of the internet. Oh my god, this is so the worst mistake that everybody is doing, that if I'm scoring less than 70 in my mock, I should defer my exam. I actually have a client who has done this, and I cannot believe, who was almost going to do this. So I cannot believe what is the information that is being said in the market. Can you really tell me that a mock score is going to determine whether you should defer your exam or no? Why? Because mocks should be harder than the exam, or mocks are easier than the exam. तो अगर इसमें भी कम मिल रहा है तो एग्जाम में क्या मिलेगा? First of all, there is no guarantee on how hard or easy your exam is gonna be. There have been multiple cases where the exams have been easier than the mocks. There have been multiple cases when the exams have been harder than the mocks. There have been multiple cases where there is literally no similarity. There have been cases where there's a lot of similarity. Nobody knows where your exam is gonna come from. So the point of you basing your accuracy in terms of whether you should defer your exam or how well you are doing is completely absurd. Also, people because of this think that I need to just learn the mock, focus on the mock, or learn the questions by heart तो मैं पक्का पास हो जाऊंगा. Absolutely not. There have been cases where people are scoring 80-90% accuracy in their practice in their mocks and they still fail. You need to know why you are practicing. You are practicing questions to get more concept clarity, not just to score a higher accuracy while practicing. It doesn't matter. By luck also you can score that. Did you actually know the concept? That's why you were able to solve it. That's what you should look at. The accuracy doesn't matter. If something is going wrong, are you able to understand why it went wrong? That is what matters. So please, please, please stop spreading all this misinformation. I even had somebody who told me that I'm scoring 30% in one subject of my mock. Should I defer? Are you able to understand what went wrong? Sometimes you just score less because you're in a bad mind frame, you're tensed. All those factors need to be considered. Or maybe those questions you just couldn't remember, which even if you take 6 more months can happen then also. It's human error rather than conceptual error. So understand why you're doing what and don't just follow these mindless theories that are put on the internet. Please put logic to things. If people are saying you need to solve at least these many questions, understand why are they telling you to solve these questions. ये normal 10th 12th का board exam नहीं है कि वही question exam में आएगा. You're doing questions so you get more concept clarity. If that is happening, you're in the right space. Understand this. Last mistake, and literally the biggest mistake that everybody is doing, is studying without a plan. Literally, I have seen people studying literally mindlessly. एक दिन quants पढ़ रहे हैं, अगले दिन they're doing fixed income, then they're putting equity in between. They haven't even completed all these 3 subjects and they've started ethics randomly. Then they decide कि I don't remember what I studied in fixed income. Again they'll revise fixed income, again they'll go to here, again they'll do that. Oof, that is so bad. If you do not have a pattern, if you do not have a study plan, you will definitely make a mistake. You will definitely go wrong. So please formulate a plan that works for you. Don't listen to people who are just putting random stuff कि यही करना है. ये एक जनरल वो क्या कहते हैं हम, general, how do you word it, man? Oh god, this is so embarrassing. It's just like a general blueprint. You need to customize those plans based on your life, your schedule, your likes, your way of learning. If you please do it. If you cannot do it, ask a friend to do it, ask a family member to do it, ask a teacher to do it, but please get it done. In fact, even we do this as a proper consultation bit. If you are interested in that, I'm adding the link in the description. You can check it out, but it is important that you get a plan. In no way am I saying that you should get only my plan. You can do it yourself. It's completely possible, but formulate a plan. The plan should be realistic, it should be achievable, it should be trackable, and you should be accountable to somebody. These are the basic points that you need to keep in mind, because without a plan you're definitely gonna go downhill. ये मैंने खुद अपने mistake में सीखा है. All my clients who are given these plans, like, we always follow these 4 rules. They should be realistic, they should be basis to you, they should be trackable, they should be accountable. So they are not subjective plans, they are always objectified. We can check week on week exactly how much you've done. So it is more actually professional also, because you know that you need to do this. We don't give you time that आपको दिन में 6 घंटे पढ़ना. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. We roam around your schedule, and like I said, if you can do it yourself, if you have a friend who can do it for you, please do it. But get a plan. It is very, very important. With that, we come to the end of this video. I think I became a little harsh, but oh my god, these mistakes are so common. It was actually getting to me, and I really had to talk about it. So I hope that all of you, my friends, now do not make these mistakes. No matter who says what, you have a little bit more clarity of what is to be done and why it is to be done. So yes, if you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Until then, keep sparkling and definitely keep learning.